Alright, we are on the draw here in match 5 of this league with Chart and Shoal Delver. We're going to keep this, I think. It's not bad. Especially on the draw. Forest into birds. Well, we're going to Tarfire that. Let's grab ourselves a Steam Vents. If the opponent has a, what's its name? Druid, Devoted Druid, as the follow-up to that bird, I'm going to be extremely sad. But in general, I think if you see a bird, you take it out. If you have reason to believe you're playing against Devoted Druid, then you don't take the bird out. We just play 2 Delvers, right? I feel like that can't be the wrong play here. I mean, theoretically, you want Visions instead. I want to play some Delvers. Don't think we're going to win the long game very much against this Scavenging Ooze. So I believe we're going to go ham. Get the clock on an Obzon deck with a Bird of Paradise Tidehollow Sculler. I'm confused. At first I was trying to figure out why Obzon mid-range would play Birds of Paradise. Sometimes they play a few Noble Hierarchs for the ramp. I don't think they've been doing that lately, but I've seen it. So maybe Birds of Paradise is your budget Noble Hierarch. Maybe you decided you just wanted more of that effect. That's possible. We're not blocking this. That would be a very bad block. Taking the Pyromancer makes some sense. Stop us from getting just a bunch of chump blockers. We just play out 2 more Delvers, right? Actually, we might be better served to go Delver plus Visions. We're going to bottom both of these, because I'm hoping we can get some Delvers to transform. We don't attack into that Sculler. Go to the opponent. We're dead in 3, but I mean, Delvers for days. We can shoal something if it seems like a good idea. We might not, but we could. So what's our opponent doing? Tidehollow Sculler and Scavenging Ooze in the same deck. Kiki Cord? Does Kiki Cord play Tidehollow Sculler? These are the questions we have to ask ourselves. Kiki Cord. It could also be Obzon Cord now that I think about it. I don't know that Cord of Company decks play Tidehollow Sculler, but I could see it. Let's check Counters Company. I hate that name so much. Do we have... Yup! Counters Company. Hate it. Plays both of these cards. Definitely plays Birds of Paradise. That's not something that I was curious about. So it looks like we're playing against an Obzon Company deck. Devoted Druid. Duskwatch Recruiter does a pretty good job of confirming that. Viscera Seer, nice. Alright, what do we got? Bolt. Wooded Foothills, not going to get revealed. Scour Me. Let's try that again. No, we drew a bauble. Denial. Not the best, not the worst. Not the best. Not the worst. Alright, what do we do here? We cast this. So, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 power, and we have 6 life. How are we gonna not die? I believe I want to play out this Delver. Even if it's just another body to block. If we leave one of these back, we might actually trade with something, which isn't bad. Kind of like that. I want to attack with at least one of them, I think. Would have been nice to have found a Fatty or a second Bolt effect. But maybe this is enough. We're going to make do with what we have. It's possible I should have bobbled, hoping to just hit a burn spell for their turn. That doesn't seem great. The opponent can sacrifice creatures to Vizier and then eat them with the Scavenging Ooze, which is really quite annoying. Bird's going to be a decent blocker. We could have shoaled that. I don't know if we should have. I feel like I'd rather have Shoal for Path. Okay, they don't swing with the Vizier. That's fair. I think I would have, just because. We're going to put this in front of the Ooze, and we're going to put this in front of, say, the Sculler. The main difference between blocking the Sculler and blocking the Recruiter is they can sacrifice either to grow the Scavenging Ooze if that's their game plan, but if they just let combat happen, we get Pyromancer back, which could be quite good. We're definitely on the back foot. Here is something like a Chord, which is a reason to hold up this denial, but I think I'd rather have the Delver in play. X equals 2. Well, we can't stop it, so we're going to let it happen. Take a look at our top card. They get another Sculler. Yeah. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Make sure we can't have that Pyromancer. That thing would block pretty decently. Or at least make things that would block decently. Bolt. Bobble's going to hit the stack first. Okay. I would love to. Draw 2. Scavenging Ooze is currently a 3/3. And they have no green mana available. That makes me want to bolt this. That feels like the best play. We're still under a lot of pressure from the opponent, given how little we have going on here. Bolt this. We're probably going to have to block this. Block this. They sacrifice Skoos, that's fair. Get a Scry. Not bad. Not bad at all. They know our hand. We're not going to attack here because we have 4 life. On the bright side, if they do end up swinging with the Sculler, we can get Pyromancer back, which could be relevant. Not going to crack the Misty if I don't have to, but I would like to put it on the battlefield. Basically confirmed that we're playing against Obzon Company, or say Devoted Company, Devoted Druid Company, Vizier Company, as in Vizier of Remedies. There are so many ways you could name this deck without calling it Counters Company. Alright, they don't attack, they're playing the long game. Hopefully we draw something conducive to playing the long game. I feel like they activate that to dig. Oh wow, that's really good. Okay. I want to bolt this. I want to bolt this very much. They probably sack it. And I think I'm going to attack with one of these. Do they actually main deck Path? I should look into that. Doesn't look like it. Still just going to swing with one, though. Excuse me. Drawing back-to-back lightning bolts, definitely good. I want to attack with at least one of those guys because sooner or later they are going to do things like company into Chord, and we're going to have a bad time. Kitchen Fink's going to make this game very difficult to win. Ronus the Indomitable, so we basically lost, right? This is going to grow something and give it Trample, and then they're going to swing with Ronus plus the thing they grow. Probably everything else as well. Now they can activate Ronus twice. Yeah, that's a good attack. What are we going to block? Probably this, because it doesn't have Trample. We're going to take 5, 6, 7, 8. If we block the Sculler instead, oh no, we're at 4. Taking 8 isn't that great. I was thinking we had around 10 life when figuring out what to block. Doesn't actually matter because we had no decisions that were close to relevant there. Oh, this is on the wrong screen. My apologies. What do we got? You guys might have noticed, but Vizier Company is not something I'm ready to board against. Let's look at what we do with the other list. If I was playing my Traverse list, I would cut a Mandrills. I'd cut a Nux. We don't have Nux. Keep that in mind. I take out 2 Scour. We're going to be interacting very much with this deck. We're going to take out Vapor Snag. That seems easily defensible. They have a lot of small guys. A lot of companies. I would take out a Disrupting Shoal and a Stubborn Denial. Okay, I can live with that. What would I board in? We're not going to take out Shoal yet. And we also didn't take out a Nux that we didn't have. Kozilek's Return is great. Get them at instant speed after they company. Pyroclasm. 1 mana less, not an instant. We've got Basic Mountain. Hit some land drops. Engineered Explosives. They have a lot of 2s. They also have a lot of 3s, but a lot of 2s. Flash Freeze counters most of their important cards. And Huntmaster. Anything else unique to this sideboard I would bring in? Probably this Dismember. Alright. So I'm thinking these 8. Let's take a look at company lists. Do they board in Path? A lot of them have Path. Blood Moon turns off their Gavany Townships, but I don't think that's the route you want to go in this matchup, because that's basically all it does. They have 8 mana dorks, and that's just the 1-drop ones. Usually they play, to my knowledge, 4 Hierarch, 4 Birds, 4 Devoted Druid. So they have a lot of ways of making colored mana. Don't really like Blood Moon. All it does is shut off Township. Doesn't seem great to me. Oh, what do we cut? Pyromancer isn't very good. It was probably our best thing that game, given how often they took it with the Tidehollow Sculler. But I don't think it's actually very good. On the other hand, I do want an early clock, so I kind of want to keep it. Simic Charm can go, that's reasonable. 2 cards have to leave. Snare hits a lot of their important things. I think it might just be a Shoal or 2. I don't want to make Shoal that bad. Shoal for 1 is garbage, wow. Okay, so Shoal's basically just going for 2. Do I cut this Scour instead? Probably not. Just do that. Chart a course. Cut a Chart a course. Submit. We're not playing the long game here. At least I don't want to play the long game. Keep. So now that we know they are on Vizier Company, I will not be bolting any birds, if I can help it. The opponent mulls to 6. Reason being, I want to hit their combo pieces. Okay, so, you know how Modern typically has been sort of ruled by Lightning Bolt? In the fact that there's the Bolt test and all that kind of stuff, where if your creature doesn't really do anything when it enters, costs more than 1, and dies to Bolt, it's probably not a very good card. Double red seems pretty good here. So, oh, okay, so that makes me want to get a forest kind of with this Foothills. I think I'm just going to shock here. Play Pyromancer. I want to clock this deck. So, the Bolt test can be circumvented by redundancy. If you have a bunch of cards that die to Bolt, and they are all premium Bolt targets, you're in a good spot. Your opponent's going to want to Bolt all of your things, but they won't be able to. They're going to run out of bolts. Going to play one of these. Forked Bolt this. 2 to it. Pay with this. Hold up Mana Leak. Make a token in for 2. This is the reason I wanted PZ. Just an extra clock. Something to start getting at their life total with so they don't have infinite time to find combo pieces. Birds is fine. So, the way our opponent's deck circumvents the bolt test is they play a bird on turn 1, and we take it out. And then they play a druid, and say we take that out. And then they play another druid, and we're out of bolt effects. And that's a bad spot to be in, because you don't want to not have bolt effects for their combo pieces. Therefore, you have to save your bolt effects for the combo pieces that matter. Don't really want to tap out with Huntmaster here. Kind of want to have these counter spells up. The opponent's behind on board, so I don't even mind playing Drago with them if that's their game. If this is green, we're probably going to flash freeze it. It's not, therefore mana leak. Not going to let that resolve. That's going to wipe our board. How about we just have a bigger board instead? Go Peasy, they scooped. That's pretty great. Alright, we took game 2. 1-1 in this match. Anything we're going to do to change up how we sideboarded? I might cut another shoal. It really isn't doing much because of all the 1 CMC spells we're boarding out here. What do I bring in exchange for the... Actually, in that case, I think I cut all the shoals, and that's not something I want to do. Because I want shoal for 2 to still be decent. As is, we've got 7 2 CMC cards that can pitch to a shoal, including the second shoal, which isn't bad. And they have a lot of 2 CMC cards that we're going to want to hit. We also have Spell Snare to help with that. But they don't have that many 1 CMCs because they play Coco. So you're not going to fill your deck with 1-drops, so you can play a 4-mana spell to get 2 1-drops out. That's just bad. You're not going to do that. You get card advantage, but you're down 2 mana. So Coco decks try to push everything to 3. And you can't just shove your curve all the way to 3, so they have to run a bunch of 2s. This deck in particular happens to have an A plus B combo. We're going to mulligan this hand. That has both of its cards at 2. We're going to keep this hand. Bottom this Delver, I want to land. The first hand had a flash freeze, which is good. It also had a Hooting Mandrills, which isn't bad. It then had 5 lands, which is bad. Birds is going to resolve. I actually might bolt this just because I have a bunch of bolts, but I probably won't. Think I'd rather just pass to the opponent. We're going to be more disciplined if we can. Also keeps a land in our deck for longer, if that's an option. Kitchen Finks. Can't stop that. We're not going to crack this fetch. Visions, we're going to crack this fetch. Get a Steam Vents. Hitting the second land is going to be way better. Oh, we can hit both? Yeah, I want to go bolt. Doesn't even matter how we sequence these, because we're going to Mishra's Bauble them. That's fantastic. Do I want to find out what they're going to draw right now? Probably. Makes me wish that Bauble was a probe. Okay, they're going to Coco here. That's awkward. We could still win. We have draws. Second Kitchen Finks, sure. Can't stop that either. The opponent making me wish I played Anger of the Gods. Do we just slam a Tarmogoyf here? They didn't have their land. I think we slam a Tarmogoyf here. I'm so bad at Magic. Okay. Okay. We're going to pass to them. Probably not going to be flash freezing anything, because I don't think they're going to go for a main phase company. I do believe we have to blow both of these bolts on staying alive. So there's that. Really wanted to play a Goyf there. Didn't want to play out the Misty to keep more lands in the deck, so we could hit our land drops. But man, did we really need to fetch out a forest and slam Goyf. They are going to start to get way ahead of us. Another Kitchen Finks, another Birds. The Birds is fine. The Finks is really bad for us. They're going to have a bunch of life. We are on the back foot. Let's take this out of combat. It's fine. Yep. Gain more, gain more. It's alright. Doesn't matter. 4th land. That's good. Play Goif. Forest. That way we can block something, hopefully stabilize. If they have a path, we basically lose. We might hit back-to-back sweepers. Kozilek's return being the sweeper I really want to see, because we can do that on their turn to blank a combat step of the Persisting Finks. Oh, that would be a pretty cool band name, the Persisting Finks. There was a thread on, I believe, Modern Magic, r/Modern Magic, the subreddit. I believe it was yesterday, and it was all about band names for your deck. So, the Persisting Finks sounds like a pretty good one. They take Flash Freeze, that's pretty defensible. I would attack if I were them. Or would I? Them not attacking is something I like. I mean, I like it for us. I don't know if it's the right play. Chart, of course. We're not using that anytime soon. Do we just play both threats? The opponent's got instant land. We would have to shock. We could always play this tapped, delve 5 cards. That means we have to get rid of Bolt or the Bauble. I guess we just get rid of the Bolt. I can live with that for the 2 life. We'll leave Bauble to keep Goif somewhat healthy. Also going to play out this Pyromancer. I would not be surprised to see them cord on the end step, but you know what? Not a lot we can do about that. So I'm going to try to build up a board so we don't just die. Not just dying is going to be pretty good. Let's make sure we remember to play this land tapped, because we are certainly on the back foot and not interested in paying shock if we don't have to. No thank you. Our attacks are not great. Pretending Chart, of course, as a counterspell doesn't seem great to me, so I think I'd rather just play stuff. Cord for 2. Druid, they might just have the combo here. Well, they're digging. They are digging in. Looks like the combo. They haven't. Do you have a mana sink? They're going to tap and untap. Oh, okay. Just Coco. Okay, that's really good. They're going to get back Coco with the Witness. Get 4 mana again. Try to hit... Oh, no, they just get Cord. Okay, so they get Cord. How do they win? They Cord for Duskwatch Recruiter. If they tell us that they're just going to Cord for Duskwatch Recruiter, find Ballista, and kill us, we're going to scoop. Otherwise, we're going to... Yep. That'll do. That will do. The opponent is going to make an arbitrarily large amount of mana. Cord for 3. We're going to scoop. Well, we went 3-2 with Chart and Shoal. Pretty happy about that. The opponent... Let's just close this up and head back to the match. The opponent here is basically... Can we get rid of this? We can. Okay. So Devoted Druid says tap to add mana. And it can also untap by putting a -1/-1 counter on it. Vizier of Remedies, the other half of the combo from Amonkhet. If one or more -1/-1 counters would be put on a creature you control, put that many -1/-1 counters -1 on it instead. So each time this ability tries to put 1 counter, this says no, instead you put 0. So this untaps. Nothing happens. Tap it again, make mana, untap. Nothing happens. Do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. A billion times or so. A billion's actually a lot smaller than you would state if you were playing Paper Magic. Usually they say, they go very large, like a billion zeros or something. But anyways, you make a lot of mana. You Cord for Duskwatch Recruiter, which can pay 3 mana to look at some cards on top of your deck, put a creature in your hand, put the rest on the bottom. Do that until they find a Walking Ballista. Pay XX, where X equals your life total. Put X +1/+1 counters on the Walking Ballista. remove the counters to shoot you 1 time for each counter, and you die. That's their combo. That's how this deck wins. That's why we want to save bolts for this guy if we can. When the opponent has a bunch of 3-2 finks, you're probably stuck in bolting the finks, unfortunately. I think we had to do that to stem the bleeding. If we played this Goyf on time, we actually wouldn't have played those 2 bolts out. So I think this game might have gone very differently if I played this Misty instead of this Mountain. It's entirely likely we would have won. They still have decent attacks there, because I don't think this Bauble was in the graveyard at the time. So this Goyf would have been somewhat small. I'm not sure how big it was. So that looks like a huge misplay on my part, which probably cost us the 4-1, or at least was pretty likely to cost us the 4-1. They did have Finks, into Coco, get another Finks, into Cord for Sculler, into Coco, Devoted Druid. No, they corded for the Devoted Druid. Coco for these 2, get back Cord, draw into this, play this. They might have just had this in hand anyways. The opponent had a lot of good stuff. I do think this matchup is even at worst. We're pretty good at handling combo decks generally. We have a lot of disruption, we have a lot of clocks. So yeah, I think if we do a decent enough job of getting on board, we're fine. We did stumble on lands. Believe we kept a 6, so I do think that was a keep. I don't really want to go to 5. I also believe our 6 had some bolt effects in it, so I do think that was a pretty good keep. We got to scry a Delver to the bottom, which wasn't bad. Yeah, I think besides playing the wrong land and then being stuck into using up our bolts, we played this pretty well. I think that was the main misplay. Thank you all for watching. I think we're going to have to run this list back. Maybe a couple changes, but we're going to be playing more Chart, more Shoal, I think. We're going to have to look into it. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and the league overall, and I hope to see you in the next one.